Welcome everybody to this new chapter, agricultural income. Yes, we understood what is the tax rate, what is the income. Now we also understood what is residential status, and now we are into the third chapter, and that is your agricultural income. Now, very frankly, in a very simple language, I'll try to discuss this with you. Let's start. First thing, whenever I talk about agricultural income, what comes to your mind? That there is some farmer who is working in the agricultural farm, right? He is doing some agricultural activity. Out of that, he is producing certain agricultural produce. Then he is selling it and he is earning income. And we feel that this is agricultural income. And for your knowledge, I'll tell you that agricultural income is anyhow exempt from tax, not taxable. But do you know that if suppose I am a teacher and I am giving my agricultural land on rent, the rent received from agricultural lands is also exempt. Suppose attached to the agricultural land, I have a building. I have given that building on rent, and that building is used for the farmer to stay or store the goods. Then also the rent of the building is exempt from tax. The rent of building is agricultural income and it is exempt from tax. So what did you understand out of this? That renting of land, renting of building associated with agricultural activity which is attached to the farm, or sale of agricultural produce. Sometimes what happens is, some people don't do agricultural activity but engage in some process. Like example, lot of paddy is grown in the farm. Now the farmer will cut all the paddy and bring it to one factory where all the paddy is taken, finishing is done, packing is done. So making this paddy into a saleable condition, putting it into a saleable condition, all this is agricultural income. Yes, it is agricultural income. So I will tell one more thing, I was just forgetting that. Suppose you see near to your house somebody comes on the road and says, le lo sabji le lo, 50 rupees kilo tomato. So that person sells, right, that vegetables and all. The seller of vegetable, his income also is fully exempt. So what we need to think is, from a broader perspective, what is agricultural income and what is not agricultural income, and many more things related to it. So we'll discuss everything in this chapter. Just hold on, concentrate, and you will enjoy the whole thing. Okay. Now, first thing, when you remember, there is one article 82. I did not discuss in first chapter, but now I am sharing with you. Article 82 gives the central government. So when I am talking article 82, it is articles of constitution. Gives the central government to levy income tax. But it says income tax other than on agricultural income. So central government has the power to tax any income, but not agricultural income. So only agricultural income, state government has the power to levy tax. Central government don't have the power to levy tax on agricultural income. State government has the power to levy tax on, impose tax on, charge tax on agricultural income. So when I say levy, impose, charge, all are one and the same. Okay. So on agriculture income, central government cannot levy tax, state government can levy tax. And what income tax we are discussing is central government's income tax. So that's why for central government's income tax purpose, agricultural income is exempt under section 10. Now you may ask me a question, sir, do state government levy tax on agriculture? The answer is absolutely no. Why central state government don't levy tax? They have the power, right? They have the power to levy tax on agricultural income, but maybe because of the political reasons, maybe because of the reason that if agricultural activity is taxed, then the prices of goods indirectly may increase, right? That's why there is no GST, no income tax on agricultural produce till now. So anyhow, because farmers are poor, they earn little income, they are annadata, any sentiment you take, political or emotional, but as of now, neither the central nor the state government levy tax on agricultural income. Okay. But then the question arises that central government says, according to section 10, agricultural income is exempt. Agricultural income means what? So that definition is given under section 2 clause 1a. Section 2 clause 1a. You can see the notes now. Okay. Section 2 clause 1a. What it says? It says that rent or revenue. So rent or revenue you should earn from where? From the land. Where the land should be? In India. For what purpose the land should be used? For agricultural purpose. So if you earn rent or revenue from a land which is in India and used for agricultural purpose, then we can say that that is agricultural income. Suppose my father has farmlands, so he gives it on rent. For him, the rent received is agricultural income. Suppose the farmer who is working on the field is selling the goods and earning income, the revenue is agricultural income. Now, the revenue or rent can be in cash or in kind. What's the problem? No problem, right? The farmer who is working on the field can be the owner of the land or maybe a tenant also. In our example, the farmer who is working is Raju. So for him, he is a tenant. And there are many of my relatives who are working in agriculture. They are the owners of the agricultural lands. So you may be an owner, you may be tenant, but are you earning agricultural income? Yes, that is agricultural income. So what is the first point to remember? Rent or revenue from land. That land is in India and used for agricultural purpose. The rent may be received in cash or in kind. So what is in cash? So you get money whether in bank or physical cash. No problem. It is cash. In kind, I said. In kind means my tenant Raju, my father's tenant Raju, said that he will not pay any cash, but he will give 20 bags of bajra and jawar to my father. So my father received rent in kind. Okay. This is rent in kind. Now, rent in kind, we have to measure it on market value basis, and that is agricultural income for my father. Now see this chart. First chart says agricultural income, section 2 clause 1a, divided into 3 parts. First is rent or revenue, second one is agricultural operations, third one is rent from house property which is connected with agricultural land. Okay. So rent or revenue I discussed, first point only. That agricultural operations are discussed in second, third, fourth point in the chart. So in the chart, agricultural operations, first is cultivation, second is processing the agricultural produce, Third one is sale of the agriculture produce. That is discussed in second, third, fourth point. Okay, we'll discuss that. First we'll do that and then go to the fifth point, which is the third part of the chart on the extreme left right side. You would have seen, I feel, correct? Okay, yeah. Now let's discuss. First thing, rent of agricultural house property is fifth point. So let's come to the second point, cultivation. The farmer who is cultivating, out of cultivation, if he is earning income, that is agricultural income. Correct? Now, sometimes I said paddy example, converting the paddy into a saleable condition by polishing it, packing it, right? So what is it? It is the process of making the product fit for sale. Now the cultivator himself may do that. Like there are some different types of dal, tuvar ki dal, right? The farmers himself may do that, or they may give to any other person to do that. Or sometimes receiver of rent in kind, like my father received 20 bags of jawar and bajra, he is receiver of rent in kind. Correct? So anybody can process it and that becomes agricultural income. Okay. Now comes the next point, that you sell. Who can sell? Again the cultivator can sell, or the receiver of rent in kind can sell. What's wrong with it? Right? So if they earn any income as such because of the sale of agricultural produce or agricultural cultivation or processing the agricultural produce to make it fit for sale, all such things are agricultural income. No doubt should be there in your mind. Like potatoes are there. Potatoes are inside, beneath the earth, correct? Now they have to be taken out for sale, then some finishing has to be done, right? Some washing has to be done, then they dry it in the sun. So many things happen connected to that. Actually I may be right or wrong, but all these things happen. So when all these things happen, the activities are consisting of the process of converting the produce fit for sale. Now agricultural produce, making it fit for sale, that is agricultural income. But if you are doing marketing, you are doing digital marketing to sell aloo, then that marketing income, the digital marketer's income, is not agricultural income. Right? The farmer's income is agricultural income. The owner of the land receiving rent, is his income is agricultural income. The person who is processing, making the product fit for sale, his income is also agricultural income. But the digital marketer who is marketing the produce and is collecting fees for digital marketing is not agricultural income. Now see, in the chart they said rent from house property. That is actually fifth point in the next page. Let us see. Now what happens? What happens is that now there are some 10-20 acres of land. Now attached to that agricultural land, they create small cottages or even complete construction buildings also they do, whatever, not an issue. But why they do all that? Because the farmer has to stay near to the agricultural land. So farmer also will take that building, that cottage on rental basis. So the farmer paying the rent becomes the agricultural income for the owner. Suppose example, the landowner of agricultural land stays in the building just to check what farmer is doing, because he has to collect part of the rent in kind, correct? So the rent what this person paying also to the owner is agricultural income. But what is important? Certain conditions, that the building should be occupied by the cultivator or receiver of rent in kind. The building should be attached to the agricultural land, and the agricultural land should be in India, used for agricultural purpose. Are you able to understand? The building may be used as a storehouse also to store agriculture produce, or dwelling house for staying, or outbuilding also they can use it as. Nothing wrong. But it should be in connection with agricultural activity, some way or the other. Now, if the agricultural land is in rural area and the building is attached to that, that's perfectly fine. If it is in urban area, then definitely municipal taxes should be paid. If it is an urban area, for sure municipal taxes should be paid. So if these four conditions, as I said, that the cultivator or receiver of rent should stay in that building, the building should be actually connected to the or in the vicinity of the agricultural land in India. Third condition, it should be used as a storehouse, dwelling house or outbuilding. And if it is in the land is in rural area, no problem. If it is in urban area, municipal taxes should be paid. These things should be very clear in your mind. Right? Imagine a village to remember this chapter, and I will guarantee you that this chapter will come live in front of your eyes, because India is a country of villages and everybody would have visited some village. Keep that actual village you traveled in your imaginations to remember this chapter. I will guarantee you, maza aa jayega. Now come to analysis part. Suppose the land or building is not used for agriculture. Then whatever is not used for agriculture, that income from that part is not agriculture income. Simple as that. Suppose if you are renting land, for storage of agricultural produce. Hey, you are renting land for agriculture? No, for only storage of agricultural produce. Then the rent received is like a warehouse rent, correct? Storehouse rent, correct? So that is not agricultural income. If suppose the landowner is occupying the building, then he should stay in the building. And if it is cultivator or receiver of rent in kind, he should stay in the building. If they should occupy the building, that's enough. Right? For cultivator, for receiver of rent in kind, if they occupy the building, they stay in the building, that's enough. They may be as a tenant, they may be as an owner, no problem. But if owner of land is there, then he should also stay in the building. Correct? Or he should give land and building both as rent. That's how they said. So no need to worry from exam perspective. Simply building should be attached to agricultural land. The cultivator or receiver of rent should stay in that building. Right? If owner himself is cultivating, he should stay in the building. Right? Then there is anyhow no rent, so no need to discuss about it. So like that it comes. Now, if suppose you sold the agricultural land, is it agricultural income? Sale of agricultural land is not agricultural income. It is simply a capital gain related income. Okay, land is a capital asset, and when you sell agricultural land, you are subject to capital gains tax. Of course, if you sell rural agricultural land, it is fully exempt. But if you sell urban agricultural land, then it is taxable. Okay, but anyhow, in both the cases, remember, income from sale of agricultural land, or even I will add for your reference, sale of building attached to the agricultural land is not agricultural income. Usko agricultural income nahi bolne ka. No, we will not say. Okay, very good. Now, hey, dekho, there should be some nexus between activity and outcome, correct? If you are doing agricultural activity and your outcome is agricultural produce, then we can say yes, it is agricultural income. But if suppose you are using mulberry leaves, through that you are trying to create silk cocoons, and you are just feeding the silkworms. Ultimate target is you want to get silk out of it. So here activity may be to produce our mulberry leaves, but output is silk. It is not agricultural income. So the activity should also be agricultural activity, and the outcome, that is the product, should also be agricultural item. Like my relatives are there who sow so many seeds into the agricultural farm to produce jawar, and after sowing the seeds they get jawar, they sell it, they earn income. Their activity is also agriculture, their output is also agricultural produce. That you should understand. Whereas in the case of mulberry leaves used for silk cocoons and outcome is silk, there is no agricultural income. So it is not agricultural income. Even though partially agricultural activity is there, we don't consider it as agricultural income. Okay, clear to all of you? Very good. Now shall we go to the next point? Till now I feel everything you understood what I tried to convey. Now sometimes what happens, we have to understand that what is agricultural operations, right? Agricultural income I explained, it is defined in section 2 clause 1a. But what is agricultural operations, Income Tax Act did not define. And there were a lot of continuous fights between the taxpayers, assessees and the income tax departments. One of such fights happened in CIT, Commissioner of Income Tax. He filed the case, so we call him as plaintiff, versus Raja Benoy Kumar Sahas Roy. बाप रे, नाम बड़ा है ना? चलो repeat with me, you will remember. CIT versus Raja Benoy Kumar Sahas Roy. Raja Benoy Kumar Sahas Roy. Raja Benoy Kumar Sahas Roy. CIT versus Raja Benoy Kumar Sahas Roy. In this case, they said that agricultural operations means there are two operations. One is basic operations, second one is subsequent operations. So till the germination means putting the seeds, right, into the soil, all operations, whether it is plugging the soil, tilling the soil, land, or we can say, are you planting, plantations you are doing, you are into irrigation, you are sowing seeds, all such things, whatever you are doing, right? Tilling of land, sowing of seeds, plantation and irrigation, all these are basic operations. Okay, till germination everything is a basic operation. But then you may ask me a question, sir, what is subsequent operation? After germination everything is subsequent operation, correct? So if example, you once the produce starts sprouting out, right, you are helping the produce to grow and you are protecting the produce, or you are doing something which makes the produce fit for sale. All such operations are subsequent operations. You are making it fit for sale. Once any activity done after sprouting of the agricultural produce from the land, right, you have to throw lot of pesticides to protect the produce from insects, or right. So organic pesticides is always great, right? So try to go with it. You love to eat organic food, so similarly let us use organic pesticides too, correct? So this is what, throwing pesticides, cutting all the things, like weeding is there, pruning is there, right, cutting is there, harvesting is there, or some undergrown is there, right, unnecessary plants come which we don't want, so removing the soil, attach it to it, that all activity which is done after the produce sprouts from the land. You want to foster the growth of the agricultural produce. You want to protect the agricultural produce. You want to actually process and make the product fit for sale. All such activities, whether it is pruning, cutting, harvesting, whether it is weeding, whether it is removing the soil, attach it to the underground, all that is what? Subsequent activity. So if you are engaged in basic operations, it is agricultural income. If you are engaged in basic plus subsequent operation, it is also agricultural income. But if you are engaged in only subsequent operations, you are engaged only in subsequent operations, only in subsequent operations, it is not agricultural income. So only basic operations, agriculture income. Only basic operations, agriculture income. Basic and subsequent, agriculture income. Basic operations and subsequent operations, agriculture income. Only subsequent operations, not an agricultural income. Keep in mind. If suppose you are earning some income because of agricultural, this long chart you will see and you will feel that अरे यार बहुत लंबा chart है. Essence I'll tell out of this chart. What they said that if agricultural activity is in India, then only it is agricultural income. Suppose you say I am doing agricultural activity in Sri Lanka, Ukraine or Zambia, Turkey or Lebanon, Syria, Afghanistan. Okay yaar, it is outside India. It is not at all agricultural income. Okay, only for income tax purpose. If you are sitting with your friend and your agriculture farms are in Sri Lanka, don't tell them that अरे श्रीलंका में farms है but वो agriculture नहीं है रे, पागल बोलते दोस्त, right? So never tell to your friends. Practically in real life it is agriculture income, whether you do in India, Sri Lanka, Zambia or any other country. But for income tax purpose, agriculture income is agricultural income from land in India. That's what the chart wanted to convey. Okay, are you clear what I said? Now let us try to understand certain examples of agriculture income. And once these examples we do, then we'll also discuss what are not agriculture incomes. Okay, chalo, let's start. First thing, you are engaged in some production of tradable or commercial crops like jute, cotton. So if you are into jute or cotton, then that is agricultural income. Now all this what I am telling is based on Supreme Court judgments, right? So jute or cotton, it is agricultural income. Okay, tradable or commercial crops you are doing, like jute or cotton, it is agricultural income. Okay, now if you are making flowers or creepers, lily flower, rose flower, lotus flower, right? Flowers and creepers, there are many types of plants which just creep onto the wall. That also is an agricultural income. Creepers or flowers, you are making, producing in the agricultural land, that is agricultural income. Okay, if you are selling plants in pots, अरे gamla, pot. Okay, so if you are selling plants in pots, it is agricultural income. Okay, if you are a partner in a partnership firm and you 3 to 4 partners are engaged in agricultural activity, your partnership is engaged in agricultural activity, right? Then your remuneration, your salary, your interest on capital, right, or your commission, all that is agricultural activity or agricultural income. Because partners and partnership are one and the same. They are not different. So if firm is doing agricultural activity, it implies partners are doing agricultural activity. Firm's income is agricultural income, partners income from that is agriculture income. That's how it should be understood. Now the same doesn't apply to company, I'll tell later on, but as of now remember that the remuneration received by partners, whether it is salary, commission, bonus or interest on capital, everything, if it is a firm engaged in agriculture, the partner's income as such is also agricultural income. If you are actually selling the trees which you have grown on the denuded forests, then that is also agricultural income. Okay, now so what you are doing is you are growing trees into the forest and then selling it by cutting it, so that becomes your agricultural income. Sometimes what happens, and after Narendra Modi's government this has grown a lot, that agricultural insurance, crop insurance has come into picture. Because of the hailstorm, if the green leaves of the assessee of the tea garden, like lot of tea bushes are there, and because of the storm, like generally tea bushes where we do tea growing is done in Assam, and if suddenly huge storm comes, hailstorm comes, and the whole leaves are destroyed, so after putting all such efforts, unnecessarily there is a loss, correct? So they do insurance of it. So the insurance compensation received is also agricultural income. Okay, suppose you have done insurance only for the agricultural farm related loss, then the insurance compensation received is agricultural income. But suppose you did the insurance, took the insurance for agricultural farm related matter and manufacturing loss related matter, regarding both combined insurance you took, then the insurance compensation is non-agricultural income. So if you have to do tax planning, what will you do? You take separate insurance for farm and separate insurance for manufacturing loss. Right? Safe side, correct? This tax planning many people do. Okay, right. I'll teach you tax planning also wherever required, don't worry. Okay, now we have to understand that if there are something called as, oh, I am forgetting actually. That's why TIF fees you are going to get. Okay, whatever fees you are actually going to get for gazing of cattle, there is an agricultural farm. Now in the agricultural farm, the cattle and the cows all are used for agricultural activity. Now certain part of the land is used only for gazing of the cattle, then that is also agricultural income. Okay, if you are charging some fees to people who are allowing their cattle to come into the farm and eat out all the grass and all, then you charge fees to the people who are sending their cattle, you charge some fees, and that is agricultural income. Saplings are there, small plants are there, seedings are there, from that if you are selling and earning income, that is also agricultural income. So what are the instances or examples which we discussed? We discussed around 8 examples. Are you selling trade or tradable or commercial crops like jute, cotton? Are you selling flowers or creepers? Are you actually selling plants in pots? Are you selling are you getting some remuneration from the partnership firm or commission from partnership firm? Then all these are agricultural income examples. If you are growing trees in the forest which are denuded and earning out of income out of it, are you claiming insurance compensation because of the loss of the tea garden because of the hailstorm, the green leaves are destroyed, then it is agriculture income. But if it is also loss of manufacturing activity, then such insurance compensation is non-agricultural. That also we should understand, right? If you are collecting some fees for grazing of cattle in your farm, then it is agricultural income. And if you are selling some saplings, seedings, then it is also agricultural income. This is how you should remember. Hey, actually what I did is I tried to create some shortcut. I'll tell you. I did like this: T F P R T I F S, T F P R T I F TIFS. Correct. This way I try to create a code and remember that. Right. Shall we go to the next part? Examples of non-agriculture income. Suppose if it is a company like Godrej Farming is there, Tata Tea is also into agricultural activity, correct? So what we have to remember, that the company earning income is agriculture income, no doubt about it. But if the shareholder is getting dividend, the shareholders dividend is on the investment, it is a return on money, so it is not agricultural income. The director getting salary, non-agricultural income. The director getting some meeting attendance fees, non-agricultural income. The employees of the company getting salary, non-agricultural income. If you have a lot of sugar cane in your farm, you are converting that sugar cane to jaggery and selling the jaggery, this part of the income is non-agricultural income. You have a very good farm where lot of flowers are there, and some heroine want to do some dance shooting, something like that, and they actually pay you some fees. So you are not earning from agriculture, right? You are charging some fees for using the land for non-agricultural activity, so that is also a non-agricultural income, right? This way you should be able to understand. Like if there is a dairy farm, if you are selling milk, right, curd, paneer, that is non-agriculture income. Fisheries, horticulture, fisheries, poultry farms, not at all an agricultural income. This way you have to just remember everything. If you actually don't remember, just understand also, it's more than enough. Just lot of items are there. Let us just share the screen and let's see everything and go to the next topic after that. Okay, now let's see the examples of non-agriculture income. I gave some orally, but let's read everything. I have shared full screen for you also to read with me. Okay, chalo, let's start. Salary received by an employee from any business. Salary, right? खेती थोड़ी कर रहा है, जॉब कर रहा है. He is just doing a job, so his salary is non-agriculture income, even though he is working in a company which is into agricultural activity, right? Okay, next thing, they gave dividend. Now it is return on investment, correct? So it is not agriculture income. Dividend received from a company engaged in agricultural operations is non-agricultural income. Third thing you see, income from salt. अरे you are making salt. Salt तो river के बाजू को होता है, right? Just besides the rivers. So it is not agricultural, nothing agricultural type of thing, right? Salt produced by flooding the land with sea water is non-agricultural income. Fourth one, income from fisheries. I already said na, fisheries, poultry farming, dairy farming, everything I covered. Butter, अरे यार I covered ghee, paneer, cheese. Okay, मैं नहीं कवर किया, तू कवर कर लिया. वेरी गुड बॉय. इज नॉन एग्रीकल्चरल इनकम. Breeding and rearing of livestock is non-agricultural income. One of my students is there, his friend is there, I will not name the person, but he just takes dogs, rich people's dogs, just for walk. and he earns 80,000 rupees per month. I was shocked to hear that. Just morning walk and evening walk with dogs. So half an hour each dog, 10 to 15 dogs he takes care of in the morning, same 15 dogs in the evening, and he earns. So now rearing of livestock doesn't mean agriculture income, right? खेती थोड़ी कर रहा है. He is not doing any agricultural activity. Next thing, so interest received. So there can be unconventional ways of earning income also that you should understand. That's why I said interest received by a money lender. So he's just lending money and getting interest, right? It is not agricultural income. Even though he may get in kind, he may get some part of the agricultural produce, but it is a return on money, right? Not agricultural income for money lender. Profit on sale of standing crops. Now you sold the land, along with the land lot of crops are also sold, so that is non-agricultural income. Royalty income from mines. Are mines to non-agricultural income. We are not doing any agricultural activity, correct? There is no produce. We only make coal, iron ore, gold out of the mine. So neither mining activity is agriculture nor the royalty of the land is agricultural income. Okay, next thing, remuneration to a director or a managing director from a company engaged in agricultural business is non-agricultural income. The provisions holds good even when such remuneration is on the basis of certain percentage of net profit. If suppose Godrej Farming is paying to the managing director on the basis of profit, still the director's remuneration is non-agricultural. Okay, company is a separate entity, it is earning agricultural income. Okay, director is an employee, naukar hai bas. Okay, 10th one, income earned by a cultivator from conversion of sugar cane from his own land, he raised it, to jaggery. So in this case also he is converting sugarcane to jaggery. It is non-agricultural income to the extent to which income is related to, like 1 kg sugarcane 20 rupees, jaggery 1 kg suppose 50 rupees. So that 30 rupees is non-agricultural income. The first 20 rupees of sugarcane is agriculture income. We'll discuss more on this. Even numerical problems are there, don't worry. Okay, 11th one, interest on arrears of rent. Now the cultivator has to pay rent, but he did not pay the rent. Okay, delayed in paying the rent. So the owner of the land charged interest. So the interest received by the owner of the land or building used for agricultural purpose, not an agricultural income. Interest is not agricultural income. Rent is agricultural income, but interest is not. So interest on arrears of rent receivable in respect of agricultural land is non-agricultural income. Income from a land situated outside India, I already said that land outside India is not agricultural income for only income tax purpose. So only for income tax purpose it is not agricultural income. Annuity received by a person in consideration of transfer of agricultural land is non-agricultural income. Annuity is lump sum amount, right? So it is equivalent to sale of agricultural land. So that's why not an agricultural income. Okay, 14th one, income on supply of water for agriculture. अरे पानी बेच रहा है for agricultural operations is non-agricultural income. If he is selling water, how can we say it is agricultural income? Suppose water works department is charging water bill to the farmer. Is it agricultural income for water works department? So the answer is no. It is not it is not agriculture income. Suppose in one agricultural land there is proper water facility and in the other agricultural land there is no water facility. So the person sold the water to the other farm also and charged some money for the rent for the water. So in this case, the rent for water or the charges for sale of water is non-agricultural income. That's what we have to remember. Next thing we should remember, income from sale of trees and grasses grown spontaneously. If something is grown spontaneously without any human effort, right, and you are selling it, that's non-agricultural income. This is how we should remember what is non-agricultural income and what is agricultural income. On this, there is a huge problem which we have to do. We have to solve some problem. Don't worry about it. Chalo. Let's discuss certain important things which I am going to discuss with you now. 1 minute. Yes, we will discuss now treatment of partly agricultural and partly non-agricultural income. Partly agricultural and partly non-agricultural income we are going to discuss now. Now I'll tell you the problem what happened and then we'll discuss the theory. The problem is that like Tata Tea is there. So they have their own tea farms in Assam and many other places. From that they take the leaves, then they convert into the tea powder, then they pack it, they sell it. Now for doing all these things, agricultural farms are needed. But again, plant and machinery and industry manufacturing is also needed. Now tell me, is it the sale of tea powder, is it agricultural income or non-agricultural income? Or is it both? The answer is absolutely right, both. So now, how much is agricultural income and how much is non-agricultural income? Always there is a dispute between the government and the farmers or the companies. To put an end to the dispute, government said let us bring rule 7A. And they said that if the income is partly agriculture, partly non-agriculture, we will give some percentage. And let us fix that this is the percentage. Let's assume for tea, rule 8 talks about tea. So if you are into growing and manufacturing tea, please remember, if you are just growing tea, it is totally agricultural income. If you are only doing farm related work, growing, then it is only agricultural income. If you are into manufacturing, only manufacturing, then you are non-agriculture, your income is non-agriculture income. But the problem arises only when you are not only growing but also manufacturing. In that case, government clearly stated 60% is agriculture, 40% is non-agriculture income. Suppose example 5 lakhs is the income from sale of tea powder. In that 60%, 5 lakhs into 60%, 3 lakhs is your agricultural income. 5 lakhs into 40%, 2 lakhs is your non-agricultural income. This way you should be able to divide. Okay. So for tea, rule 8 says that 60 agriculture, 40 non-agricultural. Now rule 7A talks about rubber. For rubber, which we actually take out from forest and finish it, then make it a product for sale, everything is done, right? So 65% agricultural and 35% non-agricultural. 65% agricultural, 35% non-agricultural. Clarity should be there. Okay. Shall I take you to the third part of the story? If you are into rule 7B subsection 1, you are growing and curing coffee. Only these two activities you are doing, growing and curing coffee. Then 75% is agricultural and 25% is non-agricultural. 75% agricultural, 25% non-agricultural. Right? Income. Now, if rule 7B1A, rule 7b sub rule 1a. It is growing, curing, roasting, right? You are mixing chicory, taste smelling powders, or not mixing chicory into it. Anything is okay. But if you are doing roasting also, then 60% of the coffee is agricultural, 40% becomes non-agricultural. Because roasting is done in plant and machineries, so that's why non-agricultural percentage increased. So please remember that if rule 8 says, chalo, let's ignore the rules for the time being. For tea, 60 agricultural, 40 non-agricultural. For rubber, 65 agricultural, 35 non-agricultural. For coffee grown and cured, 75 agricultural and 25 non-agricultural. And for coffee grown, cured, roasted, and also one word I missed, grounded by mixing chicory or without mixing chicory, then 60% agricultural and 40% non-agricultural. For tea, rule 8. For rubber, rule 7a. For coffee grown and cured, rule 7b sub rule 1. And for coffee grown, cured, roasted, grounded, mixing chicory, without mixing chicory, 7b sub rule 1a. Now this is about only the 3 products, tea, coffee, rubber. But there may be many other products like sugarcane is there. Sugarcane, what you are doing? You are converting sugarcane to jaggery, sugar, right? Or you may be doing the same with many products. With corn you are creating cornflakes. With potato you are making chips. So there may be many products where you may have your own agricultural farm and produce the agriculture thing, put it into machineries, convert into another product and sell it and earn income. In that case, what is the percentage? Income tax department, Income Tax Act did not give anything as such. But then disputes will continue for all other products, sir. No, don't worry. No disputes will continue. Because they gave a mechanism, a system, how actually we can do. Chalo, I'll tell you how the system works. Dekho, you all prepared P&L account, correct? So prepare 2 P&L accounts. One for agricultural income and second P&L account for non-agricultural income. Easy? Clear? Now, if you have cultivation expenses, that means agricultural activity related expenses, you will debit that expenses to agricultural P&L account, correct? If you have conversion of agricultural produce to saleable products in using plant and machinery, right, then that expenses you will put it in non-agricultural P&L account, correct? Agricultural produce, whatever you sold as it is in the market, that becomes your agricultural revenue. You will credit it. Simple? Yes. Then if agricultural produce, you used it for manufacturing the new products like chips, like sugar, then the fair market value of agricultural produce used in the industry will become revenue for agricultural activity. यानी agricultural P&L account के लिए income हो जाएगा, right? And the same will become the cost to non-agricultural activity. So if you do this, then you will get income, what is agriculture income, what is non-agricultural income. In simple language, one person is doing agriculture and non-agriculture both, correct? What you imagine while solving the problem is that both are, it is not one person, but there are 2 different persons. So 2 different persons means 2 different P&L accounts. One is doing agriculture, so agriculture expenses on the debit side. One is doing non-agricultural activity, so non-agricultural expenses on the debit side. So the person who is doing agricultural activity, the sale of agricultural produce as it is, or use of agricultural produce in industry as it is, will become the revenue. The fair market will become revenue for agriculture on the credit side. Yes sir, simple. And the items which are agricultural used for industry will become the cost. The fair market value will become the cost to the industry person, right? And this way we will actually compute. Okay, 3 steps are there. I explained in summary format. Simply write all the revenues on the top. From that deduct related expenses. Okay, fair market of value of agriculture produce becomes income for agricultural activity, but becomes the expenditure for non-agricultural activity. This difference you should be able to remember. Now in all these cases, I'll tell you one more thing which you should remember, that suppose if it is a partnership firm, then for tea, coffee, rubber, or even sugar cane or chips, potatoes, everything, if agricultural and non-agricultural both are involved, then partnerships income is also to be segregated like this, and partners income should also be segregated as agricultural and non-agricultural separately. This is how we actually do everything. Now, what is the impact of agricultural income on taxation? Now, agricultural income is exempt from tax. So, what is the relationship with tax? There are certain people called as politicians, certain people called as businessmen. What they do is they earn income through some other mode, by doing industry activity, by doing some political activity, corruption, whatever it may be. And whatever income they get, they try to show it as agricultural income. And they were paying zero taxes to the government. Now this is not right, correct? If somebody is engaged in agriculture also, non-agricultural activity also, then if he tries to shift the income to agriculture, right, regular income to agriculture, and try to escape taxes, is it right? The answer is no, it is not right. Now you find the loopholes for tax avoidance like this, and government comes out with 3 more steps for computing tax liability like this, which I am going to teach you now. So you understood, you found the loophole. Arey, I can show this coaching income as agriculture income, right? And I will not be paying taxes. What a wonderful idea. And this wonderful idea is nothing but you are finding the loopholes, or you are trying to evade the taxes. Wrong. Government tried to fill this gap in the year 1973. From that time, 3-step formula for determining the tax liability is derived. But then this 3-step formula is applicable to whom? Only for 3, if you satisfy 3 conditions. You should be either an individual, HUF, association of persons, body of individual, or a artificial juridical person. Only 5 entities I said. What are they? Individual, HUF, association of persons, body of individuals, and artificial juridical person. If you are among the any of the 5 SSC, then you may be subject to these provisions. The income should be more than the maximum amount not chargeable to tax. Suppose your basic exemption limit is the maximum amount not chargeable to tax. So 2,50,000. If you are a senior citizen, resident senior citizen, 3 lakhs. Resident super senior citizen, 5 lakhs. So your income other than from agriculture should be more than this limit. And last thing is your agriculture income should be more than 5,000 rupees. If you satisfy 3 conditions, you are either a resident, either an individual HUF, or association of persons, body of individuals, or we can say that you are a artificial juridical person. In simple language, those who are subject to slab rate of taxation. Second thing, your income is more than the basic exemption limit. That means non-agricultural income is more than basic exemption limit. And third condition, agriculture income is more than the 5,000 rupees. If three conditions are okay, then compute tax like this. चलो भाई शुरू करते हैं. First, compute tax on agricultural income plus non-agricultural income together. यानी on total income you compute tax. Now don't add health and education cess. Please wait. Okay. Step 2. So tax on total income including agricultural income is step 1. Don't add health and education cess. Now come to step 2. Step 2 says tax on agricultural income plus basic exemption limit. Tax on agricultural income plus basic exemption limit together. That two incomes we will total, and on that you calculate again tax. Don't add health and education cess. Now you have step 1, step 2 both, right? Step 1 minus step 2 will become your taxable income. Oh sorry, tax liability. Step 1 minus step 2 becomes your tax liability. From this, if your non-agricultural income is less than 5 lakhs rupees, from this tax liability, if your non-agriculture income is less than 5 lakhs rupees, you can give rebate also, which we discussed. Rebate under 87A. And after that, you will add health and education cess. Of course, if the income is more than 50 lakhs, then you will also add surcharge. Okay. Like this, we have to remember step 1, tax on agricultural plus non-agricultural income other than health and education cess. Step 2, tax on agricultural plus basic exemption limit. Step 3, step 1 minus step 2. And if other than agricultural income is less than 5 lakhs, then give rebate also. And finally add health and education cess. With this, we completed all the theoretical aspects of agriculture income. Now let us solve some problems to boost the confidence. I feel you understood everything, right? Chalo, take care.